please stand for the pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. First of all, we have a public hearing, so I will turn it over to Mr. Lee.
All right. And so, Kim Rockledge, our court reporter, is not here in person, but this is being recorded, and she's going to go ahead and do the transcript off of the video, so that we will have a transcript as we usually do at these hearings. And so this hearing is called to order at 7 p.m. this 8th day of November 2021 at Hermann City Hall to consider the application filed by VFW Post 4182 to rezone property owned by the VFW consisting of lots 20, 22, 24, and 26 West 14th Street, currently zoned R1, single-family residential, to A1 agricultural. And the applicant also requests that lots 28, 30, 32, 34, and 36 West 14th Street, currently zoned R1 single-family residential, be rezoned to C1 general commercial. Furthermore, the applicant requests that lots 19, 21, 23, 25, 27, and 29 of West 15th Street, currently zoned R1 single-family residential, to A1 agricultural. The applicant also requests that lots 31, 33, and 35 of West 15th Street, currently zoned R1 single-family residential, go to C1 general commercial. The properties are generally located at 108 State Highway 100 West. And the city's Planning and Zoning Commission conducted a hearing regarding the application on Thursday, October 21st at Hermann City Hall. They passed a motion to vote to recommend the rezoning of the applicant's property to the Board of Aldermen. This hearing, as I mentioned, is on the record and a transcript is being prepared. The applicant will have an opportunity to present their case. If the applicant has any documents on which they want the board to rely, they're invited to submit those. And the applicant may also have any witness or person or persons whom they desire to speak come forward and speak. After they have submitted their position, the board may ask for testimony or comments from others present in the room. At the conclusion of all testimony and comments, the board may then vote. And whether the application is approved or denied is carried by a vote of the majority of the board members. However, if there is a protest against the revision presented to the board, signed and acknowledged by owners of 30% or more of the properties within 185 feet of the subject property, then no revision or amendment to the zoning code shall become effective except by the favorable vote of 2/3 of the members of the Board of Aldermen. And we have exhibits to present. Exhibit 1 would be the application to change the zoning classifications. Exhibit 2 would be the affidavit of publication from the newspaper. Exhibit 3 is the notice of public hearing published in the newspaper. Exhibit 4 would be the entire Code of Ordinances of the City of Hermann, Missouri. Exhibit 5 is the meeting minutes of the Planning and Zoning Commission. And Exhibit 6 is a document presented to the Planning and Zoning Commission signed by people who, quote, feel it is not a good decision to zone the lots requested or as requested. There are 9 signatures on this thing. And then we have Exhibit 7, which is just an aerial photo of the lots that are in question, highlighted, or the boundaries highlighted to show where they are. And Mayor Cox, would you agree to accept these exhibits into the record?
Yes, sir.
Then we can proceed if our applicant is here.
Yeah.
I'm Larry Bach, representing the Hermann VFW Post 4182. I'm the quartermaster there. and have asked for the zoning changes from R1 to C1. The reason being, we are looking for monies all the time to support the VFW. And, when this initially happened, 76 years ago, there was a lot more veterans. And we've come to the point where there's a lot less veterans, a lot less people to do the work for the fish fries and raffles and whatever. So, we wouldn't be asking for this if it wasn't for the sake that we need money just to stay afloat. And our monthly average is $1,100 expenses, and it takes quite a few fish fries to overcome that. And, if this is allowed to happen, we will try to be considerate of our neighbors on whatever we do with the properties. We don't know for sure what we would do if it's zoned to these changes here, but we will try to make best use of the property. And that's all we're asking to do is, we're kind of running out of options to raise money. And, you see the fish fries it looks like there's a lot of people there, but there's a lot of expense involved. So it isn't as good as what it might seem to be. That's really all I have.
Very good. Anyone have any questions?
I have one. You already said it, Larry, but for the record, I wanted to hear you say it again because it might put some people's mind at ease. Do you promise to do everything in your power to minimize any negative impact on the community over there?
Yes.
Thank you.
I mean, I will personally, and I can't speak for the whole post, but there's a lot of other people that, we would try to be considerate of our neighbor.
I have talked to a lot of the guys and they said the same thing. So, but for the record here in this meeting, like I said, it might put some people's mind at ease.
I mean, we're just trying to survive, and we want to try to be there for the last veteran to walk through the door.
Wonderful.
Okay. Any other questions?
I only have one concern is I just hate to lose more residential area. But other than that, I totally get where the VFW is coming from. And I respect them and everything that they've done for our country. But that's my only reservation is I just hate to lose any more residential.
But it's never been used as a residential.
I know, but if something happens where there's no more VFW and that's commercial.
We'll all be dead and gone.
But,
More likely that the VFW and the American Legion will merge, and at that point it won't go away. The VFW predated zoning by maybe half a century.
right,
I've seen some Lulus in our zoning laws since I've been an alderman, but this one even set me back on my heels. Why this property was ever zoned R1, I can't imagine the thought process that went on this, because it's never been used as an R1. To the best of my knowledge, there was never been a house anywhere on that property.
No.
Half of it floods. You can't build there.
no,
These guys have been using the property basically for the purpose we're rezoning it for since it opened. I can remember as a kid campers being down there. I went to wedding parties. One of the first outdoor wedding dances I ever went to was underneath that shelter house down there.
And I'd
That was
like
so
to
cool
be
because
able
somebody
to
had a
keep
movie
using
camera with
it.
lights on it.
keep using it just for that. It's just that I hate it to go commercial.
Well, they didn't want agriculture up top because they didn't want camping up there. The C1 fixes that and allows them a little more flexibility with the property.
Right.
The VFW is not the American Legion. And I'm not saying anything disparaging about the American Legion. I don't want anybody to do that. But these guys got shot at.
I know.
That's how you became a member of this organization. A lot of these guys got marks on them and in them.
I know, I do not
Okay.
deny any of that, or.
They're not asking us for a thing except to do the right thing. And I can't see any reason to vote against this. We trusted them with our freedom. I can trust them with this property to do the right thing. If anybody wants to vote against it, I'll give you the opportunity. I move to approve.
You're making a motion to approve?
I am.
Do I have a second?
Second.
I have
Like,
a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
And you're,
I would like to disclose I do have a conflict of interest based upon I am a member of the VFW Auxiliary, that we do participate in voting of some functions of the post, and I don't want to conflict with my vote one way or the other to go against our veterans.
so we have 3 in favor and 1 abstain. So carried, correct?
Correct.
Motion is carried.
And for the record, even if we look at that sheet that has the signatures of the objectors on it, even if there were more than 30% of the people within 185 feet, thus requiring at least a 2/3 majority to pass, we've got 3/4. So, yes, so it did pass.
All right, thank you.
All right.
Good luck.
Go for it, Larry.
Okay, thank you for being here, Larry. Okay, marriage report, short as usual. First of all, I want to congratulate our tourism director, Tammy Buckerhoff.
How was that again?
Yeah, whatever. For the Innovator Award from the Missouri Division of Tourism. I don't know if you all had a chance to see that video, but it was very well done. And anyway, that's
Awesome work.
just wanted to compliment you and thank you for all you do for the city of Herman. And I guess the next thing is, wow, how about the Hermann Bearcats? I mean, it just goes on and on. The FFA, number 2 in ag mechanics, number 6 in farm management in the nation. And then Matt Lampkin, I think that's his proper name, was number 1 in the nation for ag mechanics. The girls cross country is 1 state. Volleyball girls have 1 state. The football team had a good season. It just didn't get to move forward. So anyway, hats off to our Hermann Bearcats. Job well done. Everybody can be very proud of them. The only other thing I have, I just wanted to make a comment that, you know, a while back we had a workshop for the noise issue. We had a workshop for the businesses that had music to come and try and get together and do something. And at that meeting, I did not let the public speak, so we had another workshop just for the citizens to come and voice their issues. That was last Monday. We had a very small group of people. You know, I've had several people contact me since then to tell me that they really do enjoy all the music at the different venues. So personally, I don't feel it's as big a problem as it sometimes is made to be. But anyway, I just wanted to report that we've listened to both sides, and I understand that the music venue, people have had a couple meetings, and they're making progress and trying to come down with some rules that they will all try and maintain. So that's something positive, I think. That's all I have. Oh, no, I don't. One thing, don't forget, Veterans Day is Thursday. If you know a veteran, thank them for what they've done. And the high school is having their breakfast for veterans at 8:30 in the morning. And I believe there's other restaurants that are having things for veterans, if you are a veteran. And if you are a veteran, thank you for your service. City Administrator report.
So on your agenda tonight is an ordinance for the general election for the city. And I wanted to bring your attention to a change this year. The state has changed the filing dates. So they've moved everything up by a week. So filing opens on December 7th and will close on December 28th. And so that is for the open seats that'll be up for election. And we will, as a reminder, put an advertisement in the paper 2 weeks in advance of the opening. And then again, 2 weeks just before closing to make sure that people are aware, especially with the new change. So liquor licenses renewals were actually sent out today, and those we're going to try to get people to turn back early enough for you all to approve at the one and only December board meeting. That'll be on December 13th, and that'll be for their January 22 renewal. And we'll also be mailing out business licenses next week. And we usually put a little reminder in the paper just to make everybody again aware that those are due December 31st, so nobody lapses on their license. The FEMA flood grant reimbursement that we've been talking about for almost 2 years, with the completion of the paving of Mozart Street with those FEMA flood funds, we can finally close that out. And so Tammy Ellis and I are working on that this week as well. The main thing I wanted to mention, and I will forward you all this information, MPUA has sent out a high utility alert. So we will be making some kind of effort to get this news out. We will probably try to put a letter in with the utilities to make sure that everybody's notified, and maybe some Facebook posts and some links on the website or that sort of thing. But they're predicting that costs are going to be much higher this winter, of course based upon supply and demand, and with gas supplies being so low. I hate to even say what they're suggesting in here, but they're talking about double. So to be forewarned is to be forearmed. So as you'll remember, well, it even affects electricity, because it takes natural gas to generate the electricity. So it doesn't impact the electric as much as it does gas, but it still will. As you'll remember, last year in the polar vortex, the electric fund had that huge bill that was over $300,000, and gas was $560,000, for that really short, 10-day window. So anyway, they want to get ahead of everybody. They want us to make sure the community is aware that we may be sending out urgent alerts for when they need to really conserve at different times and keep the grid stable and all those sorts of things. So just want to make the community and the citizens just as aware as possible, and we will be getting out more details. MPUA has also sent out a list of suggestions for how to, try to conserve energy. So we'll be disseminating that information.
Can we get that in the utility bill too?
Yes.
That's all you have?
That's all I have.
Any public comments or none, right? Okay, we'll move on to ordinances.
All right, ordinances. Bill number 2021-42 for first reading would be an ordinance calling the general election for the year of 2022, setting the date and time thereof, specifying polling places, appointing judges of election, specifying officers to be elected, providing filing date for candidates, providing for publication of notice of election, and general provisions.
Any discussion?
I move Bill 2021-40. I'm sorry, yeah.
I had one question just for verification. Have we checked with the courthouse to verify those polling places? Because in the last election, all of Hermann went to the Lutheran church on Highway 100.
That was for that special election. They would have notified us if they changed.
Because I was told up there that they're conserving money, and if not much is on the ballot, they're gonna pull them all together, so.
I just got a letter from the county clerk just a couple days ago, and it didn't say anything to that effect, but I will keep an eye out for that.
Okay, thank you. We have a motion on the floor from Dave to approve. Do I have a second?
Second.
Motion made and second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Ordinance is carried.
And next is bill number 2021-43, an ordinance prescribing the salary for the elected office of city collector and establishing the effective date thereof.
Any discussion on it?
I have a couple of questions I want to mention in here on that ordinance that we have to vote on. It stipulates in there that the city collector position should receive an annual base salary. And then in item number 2, it says that they are recommending another raise for the city collector in '23. Now, based upon our city ordinance of 110.070, it says, but the salary of an officer shall not be changed during the time for which he was elected or appointed. So the second raise in here would be 1 year after the position was elected. I don't that makes sense to you. Basically, for elected officials, you get a pay raise once every 2 years or the length of your term. This ordinance provides a raise to come in 1 year after the election.
I think that keeps us from voting ourselves a raise.
But by ordinance, it says, but the salary of an officer that shall not be changed during the time for which he was elected or appointed.
So the time for which they would be elected would be from today until the April election. And so there's not anything in this ordinance to raise the salary of that person starting now, or starting January 1st or March 1st, it's starting April. And so, and then from April 2022 until April 2024, there will not be another ordinance.
The ordinance doesn't say 24, it says 2023.
Well, right.
That's a 1 year.
Well, but beginning on April 1st, 2023, then it's going to be the $49,654.34, right?
Correct.
And so it's basically establishing the salary for this person during that 2-year period so that the board doesn't have to come forward anytime during that 2-year period to raise it up, if that makes sense.
It does not, really, because this to me says that April 1st of 2023, the city collector salary will increase to whatever, 54,000 and some odd change. Where if it would say it in there, being effective upon the election of April 2024, then that would be different. This stipulates on April of 2023, this goes into effect.
No, this is written this way so that it's always for the person who's getting the next term. So if our current collector doesn't run or doesn't get the position, then it's for whoever gets that job. This is establishing what their pay will be during their term. And since they're elected official, but they function like an employee, this is the way to give them the 3% raise each year like you voted for a regular employee. So it goes into effect for whoever gets elected to the collector's position on April 2022. And then April 23, then they get the other 3%.
And the code doesn't mean that they can't get a raise anytime during their term. It's just you can't pass an ordinance to establish the raise during their term.
Oh, I got it.
Yeah, and I think this is the way it's been done here at the city for decades.
Well, that's 2.5 years. This is the first time that I've witnessed it.
No.
And the state statute actually says the same verbiage, that an elected official or appointed cannot have a salary change while they're serving their term. The term would be from April of 2022 until April of 2024.
So do we want to vote in a 6% raise one time?
Well, you're giving it twice and within a year.
We can make it the full amount that employees would get 3%. We could do it all at once, so there wouldn't have to be a change, so she could just get.
Well, we could just bring it up in December of 22 or 23. We got 2 years out here to weigh this out. The way I look at it, we're being asked to grant a pay raise 2 years out, where that position's not up for election until 24 again. It's no difference as if this board voted for a raise.
But we won't be voting on it then. We're voting on it now.
If you voted on a raise in December of 2023, that would violate the ordinance and the statute that says you can't, because you're midterm for that collector at that time, and so
No.
you're voting the raise in at that time.
Well, that's the same thing in this case, is we're voting in November for a pay raise in 22. Is that not
But the
right?
person is going to be elected in 22.
Yeah.
Whoever the collector is as of April 5th, 2022 is going to get the raise.
Correct.
Mhm.
But by our city ordinance and the state statutes, that person while in office, which would be April of '22 until April of '24, cannot have a pay change.
I don't think that's what it says.
That's what it says.
The lawyer says no.
Well, what's the section number?
It's 110.070. The last sentence says the Board of Aldermen shall have the power to fix compensation of all officers and employees of the city of Hermann by ordinance. But the salary of an officer shall not be changed during the time for which he was elected or appointed.
And we're not doing that. It's
If
for
we-
the next, just doesn't change till the next election.
Correct, but then part number 2 in here is giving a raise 1 year after she's been elected, or that.
But we're not voting on it then.
That's what's in the ordinance. We're voting on to give her a raise in '23.
If the language said, but the salary of an officer shall not change during the time for which they were elected, I would agree. But it says the salary of an officer shall not be changed. And in my opinion, that means that this board could not have an ordinance in front of it in December 2023 or any time midterm and vote to change it at that time. But you can establish it, and it's not going to change from April 2022 to April 2024. It's just going to be set now.
Well, it will change because this item number 2 goes in effect of April 2023.
It's not going to be changed, verb changed, action taken by this board from April 2022 to April 2024. But
And
that's
that's the
just
way-
my opinion, you guys
And
can
that's
all
the way
vote.
it's obviously been interpreted for the last 20 or 30 years.
Then anyhow, I think it's against our ordinances. I think we need time. The first part, to give her a raise after this election, is fine, but I still, my understanding and exactly what the state statute says, we're trying to build in automatically a raise halfway through the elected term.
But we're giving it to her now. Who, her, he, whoever's in.
Item number 1, after the election, they get it. Item number 2, a year later, they are eligible to bump up.
But we're doing it now, not a year from now.
And we can't, no different than what we're doing today.
Well, the legal deal here says that's not what
Because,
we're doing.
I know in recent years, that the county commissioners had voted themselves a pay raise.
And we're not doing that.
It went to the state Supreme Court and came back, and the state Supreme Court made them pay the money back because they could not receive a compensation increase while they were still serving their term.
Yes, but they voted themselves a raise. We're not doing that.
This is elected officials.
But she's not voting herself a raise.
They cannot, they're not, a city collector is not a
And this is,
position.
a practical reason for this is so that you guys don't go to who your favorite candidate for city collector is and say, hey, don't worry, if the incumbent wins, the salary is gonna stay fixed from 2023 to 2024, but if you win, we're gonna go ahead and come back and pass an ordinance giving you a big fat raise in the middle of your term from 2023 to 2024. This sets it so anybody who's considering running for city collector knows exactly what their salary is gonna be from 2022 to 2024.
So basically, it's,
And then we can't change it. Once they're
That's it,
elected,
then that's it.
once they're elected, we can't change it. Upward now.
But
so
we
basically
do-
we can look at it as she's really, it's like being a city employee and they get a 3% raise every year.
And, yeah, right, except that you can't raise it every year. You have to always do it 2 years
Do it in
ahead, so
advance.
it's set during that term. Because, as Jim said, you can't change it during the term. That you can, but you can't, again, this board can't have an ordinance to change the city collector's salary in mid-term. I agree with that. But,
And
we
to
can
me,
say-
that's what we're doing in '23.
I don't see that. We're voting for it now, not in 23.
So, and if you want to table it, and what advantage is tabling it gonna do for us?
Well, I think it's illegal, to be honest with you.
Well, the lawyer says it isn't, so.
Because we can take it up the ladder to the Missouri Supreme Court.
Well, it has no bearing whatsoever on what happened to the
If
county.
this- if
They
this-
voted themselves a raise. We're not doing that.
If this ordinance would say that item number 2, the period beginning on April 1st of 2024, I wouldn't have a problem. But this says beginning 1 year from this upcoming election, she will be eligible, or that position will be eligible to come up to $49,654 and change. That's what I'm getting at. So we are putting in a raise for 22 after the election, but we're also putting in a raise in 23, 1 year after that person is elected.
But we're doing it now.
That's irrelevant.
It's
Well,
been,
according to him, it isn't.
and it's been done for how long?
2.5 years I've been here.
Well, I've been here 9
Yes, it
years, and
has.
this is the way we've done it every year, and I'm pretty certain Dolores would confirm that it's been done for decades this way.
Yeah,
I move Bill 2021-43.
motion's been made, do I have a second?
Second.
Motion made and second, all in favor, aye?
Aye. Hey.
Opposed, one opposed, so carried.
Look forward to something. Here.
Okay, move on to old business. Anybody old?
We got
I
a
do.
couple more,
Ordinances.
I think you missed something.
I missed an order?
Yeah.
I did, I'm sorry.
Which Monday?
yes,
You missed a couple, actually.
bill number 2021-44 for first reading. An ordinance to approve a contract by and between the city of Hermann, Missouri and Holland Rentals for a billboard on the south side of the Missouri River Bridge to promote tourism.
Any discussion on that?
I thought Tammy might want to say something about it, but.
It's just an exciting opportunity to spruce up that corner, that area of the Missouri River Bridge, and point people to our visitor information center at the Amtrak station.
Very good. Any questions?
Is it gonna be on both sides, as you're coming in and going up?
No, there's still a contract on the north side. I don't anticipate that we will ever get that north side.
Okay.
But it'll be a nice having a billboard that'll cover up the ugly backside of that sign that's already there.
I move to approve bill number 2021-44.
Second.
Motion made and seconded, all in favor, aye?
Aye.
Any opposed? So carried.
And if you all don't mind reading it twice, we could get this moving, even.
We can do that.
Okay.
Right. Bill number 2021-44 for second reading. An ordinance to approve a contract by and between the city of Hermann, Missouri and Holland Rentals for a billboard on the south side of the Missouri River Bridge to promote tourism.
I move Bill 2021-44 second read.
Motion been made, second.
I'll second.
Motion made and second, all in favor, aye?
Aye.
Any opposed? So carried.
And bill number 2021-45 for first reading, an ordinance authorizing reclassification of lots 35, 36, and 37 on East First Street from A1 agricultural to C1 general commercial, and lots 69, 71, and 73 on East Second Street from A1 agricultural to R1 single family residential.
Any discussion on that? Have a motion to approve?
I move to approve bill number 2021-45.
Motion been made, do I have a second?
I'll second.
Motion made, second, all in favor, aye?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Nay.
So carried. Okay, now we'll move on to old business.
Okay.
Sorry about that. Any old business?
Yeah, I got a couple of items. Street sweeping. The part where you park your car on the wrong side of the street and get a ticket has ended for this year, according to Carol. But if you want your street swept, because that street sweeper's gonna be out for a while yet, most of the leaves have not come even close to falling yet. You might wanna still, one night a week, move your vehicle to the other side of the street so the street sweepers can get them clean, keep our gutters clean, and keep our storm sewers clean. 69 anything?
No, they're working on they're doing the title work right now. We're waiting on them to finish title work that has to be done by March.
Okay. Number 3, we had a little talk about our veterans here tonight. This week, we're gonna be laying 2 of them to rest. Wednesday will be for Victor Wagner, who is probably our oldest, up to this point, living veteran. Wednesday at 10:40 will be a flag ceremony for him. I'm assuming on Thursday there will be one for Vernon Ellis. He was an ex-city police officer, lifelong resident, well-known in the community. The entire community is welcome and encouraged to come out and help honor those who serve.
What time is Vernon?
I don't know yet, I haven't got a call about that yet, so I'm assuming we'll get a call tomorrow.
I would think
Set
so,
the
yes.
time. You guys got my email on that?
Yes. Any other old business?
Old business, I'm assuming this kind of falls underneath there, is the dumpster issue that we've had. And I brought it up some time ago about we should look into dumpsters being placed upon the city right away, the streets. There's one now on Schiller Street that actually I've met a 20-foot wide box truck, and majority of the time with that dumpster there, it becomes a one-way street. That I think we need to address the dumpsters in general. The one that was questionable too there on 3rd and Schiller, it's dropped in a no parking zone. That was an intersection the citizen brought up about visibility. It was overloaded the day I drove by. I think it's starting to get a little bit out of hand. My heart's with them. I know they're remodeling, but then again, that's not my problem. My problem is the city property, which is city street and curbs.
Well, I can tell you the one on Schiller will be gone either tomorrow or the next morning, because that's the one that I put there. And I will tell you that most of these people that have these dumpsters, there's no place else to put the dumpsters. So we have to allow for them. Now, I agree the one there on 3rd Street's been there an awful long time, but they do empty it. And, I don't know how they can get that much trash out of that building. I'm pretty.
They could collapse by now.
No, I'm just saying, because that's a 40-yard, that's big. But I think, I understand your concern, and I agree to a certain thing, but you gotta understand that when these people are rehabbing things they have to use them.
And that particular dumpster, when you said that here the other week, I drove down and looked at it, and it was not full. I guess they'd emptied it between the time you looked at it and I looked at
Yeah,
it.
they came in and dropped it.
And as far as it being in a no parking zone, it may not be exactly where it needs to be, but the yellow curb, it's not on a yellow curb. Now, the yellow curb may not be painted as far as it's supposed to be,
But
but
see,
it was not set on a yellow curb when I drove by.
And they used to have it on Schiller, and they moved it over there to try not to impede traffic, so.
Well, previously, there on 3rd Street, there was a yellow Dane dumpster that was there over a year. And now this one's been there several months. And I've asked too is, and I know you get those looks, and I've talked to Tri-County.
Well, Tri-County doesn't do that big dumpster.
Dane, it has an offer, a service that Tri-County can't provide.
Right.
But he too, I talked to Dennis, he said there's no way that dumpster should be on Schiller Street. The street is too narrow. If you look at our ordinances, probably no parking on one side of that street by our ordinance. And that dumpster, somebody later put caution tape around it, and then they had safety cones sticking out further. Well, that just took up more space. That's a traffic hazard waiting to happen. 3rd Street's the same way. I think we should bring up and work on an ordinance. Dane doesn't have a business license to operate his dumpsters inside the city. With no permit has been issued to allow dumpsters to be on the streets. So it's a very big safety issue.
Any other discussion on dumpsters?
One thing I will add on, kind of related to dumpsters, is this big trash pickup. I know there were some hiccups out there. And there again, when I talked to Dennis, he brought up that we may need to revisit on what's being put out. This year, they had a piano put out at the curb, and they had to hook a tow chain up to it.
I don't remember they ever saying you couldn't put out a piano.
To drag it, because they have to have a lift to pick it up
Oh,
off the
they
street.
do.
So they hooked a chain to it and drug it all the way to their property. And then they're restricted to time elements, they take it down to Washington landfill, because they did not pick up my big trash either. And there's several other locations it didn't happen, but Dennis said the large amount of stuff they picked up was the most they've ever picked up. In the days of having to pick up 100 pounds in a piano, last year it was an organ, he said, we got to put a stop to some of this.
Well, big trash day is big trash day. I mean,
Yeah.
that's when
Yeah,
that's when you're supposed to get rid of this
It's gonna
stuff.
be hard to come up with a solution that you
Yeah.
can't do this, this, and that.
The whole idea is for people to get rid of that stuff. You
But we
know?
can't put out a 300 pound piano upright.
Well, I think they
piano.
weigh a lot more than that. you know.
Yes, it
And
is.
I'm just throwing
Yeah,
a
okay.
number out there, but that is getting ridiculous and it's getting abused.
Well, big trash day.
I agree, it's worth looking into, but,
Because it could cause, personnel injury from picking this stuff up, and Dennis did send a truck by today and picked mine up. But there's several people out there that did not get it done, that's because they ran out of time and capacity to pick it up.
all right,
That's it, that's all I got.
all right, anybody else?
Me too. Are we gonna set a meeting for that food trucks in the restaurants?
We can?
Didn't we say we were going to at the last?
I said it, I thought it was a good idea, and I've had second
You
thoughts,
do
and
a
I don't
workshop
think it's a
one?
good idea, but, you
You
know.
don't think it's a good idea to have a workshop? Okay.
You gonna do two, one for each side, or?
No, just a
Thinking
public.
all of
No.
Oh, okay.
No. Anyway, yeah, okay, we can work on that also. Okay, any other old business, we'll move to new business. And I know Susan has something she wanted to bring up.
Yes. I would like to thank the residents and businesses in our community and the Hermann JCs for all the support and donations made to the Tina Gout's benefit. We are blessed to live in a town where everyone cares and helps each other. There are a lot of projects in our town that need help, and our food pantry always needs help. And there are 2 projects coming up to help our food pantry. Actually, there's 3, because there's always the thing with the turkeys every year. But this year, we are sponsoring at the hospital the 10th turkey trot on Thanksgiving morning. And this year, the funds are going toward the new clinic for patients. And also on that day of the turkey trot, we're asking people to bring canned goods to go to the food pantry. If you'd like more information, you can go to the hospital's Facebook page, the Advertiser Courier, and the Visit Hermann site for information. And also there is a group doing a reverse Advent project for the food pantry. Excuse me. If you go to Facebook and look under events and find Reverse Advent, there are more details. And on either of these projects, you can contact me personally and I can lead you in the right direction to help with them. And once again, thank you, Herman.
Anybody else new business? We will move on to motions. Do I have a motion to approve the last minutes?
I move to approve the last minutes.
Second.
Motion made and second, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
So carried. Invoices for payment.
Move we pay the bill.
Motion's been made to pay the bills, do I have a second?
Second.
Motion's made and seconded, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? So carried. We have a caterer's permit for Adam Poopta Winery fundraiser Showboat Theater, December 12th, 2021.
Move to approve.
Motion's been made, do I have a second?
I'll second.
Motion's made and second, all in favor aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? So carried. D, reappoint Bob Pinkerton and Kevin Clifton to the Landmarks Commission.
I move to approve Bob and Glenn to the Landmarks Commission.
Motion's been made, do I have a second?
Second.
Motion made, second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? So carried. Special event application for the Hermann Area District Hospital Turkey Trot 5K, Lower City Park and various city streets, November 25th, 2021.
Move to approve.
Motion made, do I have a second?
Second.
Motion made, second, all in favor, aye?
Aye.
Any opposed? So carried. Liquor license for the Family Dollar Stores of Missouri LLC, 513 Market Street.
I have a question question, is that just until December 31st and then they'll apply for a new one for the year?
No, they took the July renewal option.
Okay.
Move to approve.
Motion been made, second.
Second.
Motion made and second, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Airport hangar increase. Rent increase.
So yes, the airport has, the Airport Commission has approved an increase from 115 to 150. They have a lot of maintenance and repair issues out there, and so they felt they were long overdue.
Any discussion?
Move to approve.
Motion been made and approved, do I have a second?
Second.
Motion made and second, all in favor, aye?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? So carried. No reports, do I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Motion made, second.
I'll second.
Motion made and second, all in favor, aye?
Aye.
Aye.
We are adjourned, thank you, everyone, for watching.